Hello, my name is Carlos Hernandez, and today I'm going to discuss Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams provides Office 365 subscribers with an application that allows users to effectively interact even if they are a dispersed workforce. When I think about Teams, I think of a tool that accomplishes two primary functions to manage work: communication and collaboration. I previously created a brief video on the chat and meetings portion of Teams. That video focused on the communication elements of Teams. Today I will focus on the collaboration and apps portion of Teams. Before I dive in, note that the Teams app is available on multiple platforms: PC, Mac, iOS, Android, and Chrome OS. I make frequent use of the app myself on my iPhone. So what makes up a team in Teams? As you see here, a team is a group of people gathered to do something, and then the channels are the individual conversations you have on that team. They could be a specific topic, a department, and or a project. And that's a neat little screen capture from Microsoft. So each team, upon being built, has a channel called General. I suggest to create channels for specific purposes so that when a person joins the team, they know what channels they need to view. And within each channel, as you see here, there are the posts, the files, the wiki, and available apps. This is where the collaboration happens. Now I'll go over each of these items in the Teams app. I first will focus on the different parts of a channel in a team and show some typical tasks a user may perform. This isn't intended to be exhaustive of all parts of a team, but really just to discuss common tasks and or actions an end user would use. Then we'll go over the process of creating a team and then team management. So here in a channel, I'm in the channel General in the team Soundbite. And you're going to see, like I mentioned, they're made of posts, files, and wiki. And right now we're going to focus on posts. So in posts, there are two kinds of posts. There are announcements and conversations. I created a demo announcement here, and announcements generally mean they get a little more flair. So see how I have this background here, a subtitle, and then the content. And then a conversation is just a regular old post. So when you go to create a new post here, you could click on that little A with a pencil mark, and we could do a new conversation, or you could change it to a new announcement. Announcement, again, you'll notice it has the headline, the subheading, and then your announcement. We'll just switch to a new conversation. This, you can kind of be like a moderator, so everyone could reply, or maybe you and moderators you designate. And here's a nifty little thing I really find interesting, is say this team has multiple channels, and you think whatever your post is going to apply to a few of the channels, maybe across a few departments. So then you would just click on this and tag every channel you wanted to post it to. So I can select channels, and I could do it in this team, or I could do it in other teams. So it's a way to post once, but post it in multiple channels across your infrastructure. And that is the basic functionality of posting to a team. One thing in Teams that they have is called mentions. And so if you hit the @ symbol, and for instance, say I want to mention the whole team, I just type Teams, and it gives me the team name, Team Soundbite. So this will announce it when I post it. It'll end up in people's activity feed, which I'll go over in a bit. It's more or less like, hey team, today we are discussing using channels. And then that will just notify the whole team. But I also could just target a specific member of a team, which I don't have any members in this team, but if I did, I would just type in their name. So my name's Carlos. And if they're a member, it would pop up and you would be able to email them. Like I'll show you an example. This one actually has people in it. So then I could do a new post. And I have a coworker named Michael, so I could go at Michael and then tag him. So then I will email him or notify him that I posted something to the team. And then it's a really useful way to not only post, but to also notify your fellow teammates about something going on. And then another nifty portion, another cool task in Teams is you can actually email the team. So each team has an email address. And you can get to this by being in your channel, clicking in the 3 ellipses up here, and then get email address. And it will just show you the email address. It's pretty long. And so if I were to open up Outlook, do a new email, and email that address, it would show up as a post. That covers most of the primary functions of working with a post element. As I discussed earlier, elements of a channel are post, files, wiki, and apps. So now we're going to move on to the files. So here is the files portion of Teams. So if you click on files, you're going to see some basic functionality up in the header here. You can create a new file, a Word, Excel, PowerPoint, And then there are, well, two primary ways to upload to files. And one way is you can use the upload button and then find your file. So I'm going to upload this one called Upload Me Please. And there it goes. And another method is you could do a drag and drop. So if I have a file on my computer, I could just grab it and drag and drop it. In this case, I'm going to drag and drop a folder. So I'm going to get the folder and the subfile I have in it. I dragged and dropped that from my desktop on my PC. And then I also got the subfile was in there, just a text file. So those, and then there's one additional way you could post files. So while you're in the channel and you're in the post area, if you were to click the paperclip and you upload from my computer, that would end up in that general files tab. So if I were to upload from here, it would end up in files right here. Now, fundamentally on the back end, Teams is driven by SharePoint. So I really wanted to show something that a lot of users think is valuable. So in SharePoint, you could use OneDrive to sync to it. And that's this button right here. And so if I were to click sync, I already have OneDrive set up for my organization. If I click sync, I'm going to get a pop-up. It's saying getting ready to sync. So it's reaching out to my OneDrive client or app. And then it's kicked in. Now I got a pop-up that says you are now syncing. And then let me show you what this does. So as I said, by clicking the sync app, it talked to OneDrive and then it synced to my OneDrive. So here on the left-hand side, you see NIMS and Associates. That's my organization. And then here is the team I just synced. That's the team Soundbite, and then General is the channel I'm syncing from. And you see here are the two direct items I uploaded. See, there's the thanks file, and then there's the Word file. And that was all achieved by just clicking sync. That way, you can work directly out of Windows Explorer if you're on a PC, or on Finder if you're on a Mac. There's also, if I'm in Files and I click on a file, it uses a Word Online integration or Excel Online, and you could edit the document directly in Teams. And we'll just let that load. Or we could go through and open it in the app if we had it. So to open in the app, right here you have Open in Desktop App. So if I were to click that, it would take this file and open it up in my app. But we're just going to close this file. And then if you Box subscriber, Dropbox, you could tie those into your Teams. You can also, as an admin, block these services too. But right there in Files, you have the ability to upload, again, by drag and drop, or the upload button, sync using OneDrive. So as I said, you could edit it directly in here or use the desktop app, and you do that by clicking in Open in Desktop App. And let's close this file. So again, you could upload by upload button and or dragging and dropping. You could use your OneDrive if you're signed in to sync directly to them, so they show up in File Explorer or Finder if you're on a Mac. If I were to select a file and click download, I would download that specific file, or I could pin it to top. And I wanted to show one more thing with files and generally in Teams in general. It's really good at searching, so I'm going to do this Let's Encrypt search here. And then I'm looking for this one right here. And so what this was a post to an internal team to the general channel in June of 2019. And in here I created a wiki. So in my post, I just did a link to my wiki. And this wiki discusses, Let's Encrypt and implementing on an IIS. And so I just did that because to share with the team the process if they hadn't done it before and what hurdles I had to overcome or what gotchas there was. And that sums up using the files portion of Teams. So we've learned about posts, files, and wiki. And the final element I would like to discuss is the apps. Within a channel, you could use apps. And apps are found in one of two ways. You could click down here in the lower left, or if you click the plus sign in the upper right in the channel, it'll bring up a window. And then you have the built-in Microsoft apps, document library, that's something in SharePoint, Excel, Forms, OneNote. One I like to use, and which I'll demonstrate in a little bit, is Planner. But you could also, if you have like a service you already subscribe to, maybe you use Trello. If I hover over it, I'll collaborate and get more done, because that kind of summarizes what Trello does. Maybe you use Zendesk. So like you use that for ticket tracking purposes or something. You could integrate Zendesk right into that team. And so you have common providers you can attach to. And then also you'll see a little different view when you click on the apps button over here. You get the cards and a little more info. And it kind of goes the most popular ones and work your way down. But let's go back to our team there. So like I mentioned, I like the Planner app. So again, if I hit the plus sign, you can see the Planner app right there. So I want to show it in action here. This is the Planner app right here, Remote Workstation. So I pinned it after I created it. And so it looks like files in the wiki at the top, but once I connect to it, I'm in a planner I made. So planner is built on tasks and then buckets. These are like my template. This is where I have a checklist I'm performing as I perform a task. So then I take this task and I copy it over to here, and then I just rename it and then keep track of what I'm doing. And it's a way to track activities and whatnot. I could assign people to it, do comments, do due dates, and stuff like that. But that just shows the power of the different apps at your disposal when you're working with teams. And then one last thing when discussing apps is connectors, which is a very similar concept. I'm in the general channel of this team Soundbite. If I click on the three ellipses up here, I could get to connectors. So earlier I mentioned Trello. So that's a popular thing people use. If I were to do that, what it would do is it would actually just bring content directly into my posts as well as tie me into my Trello. So it's a way to just keep your group current with content updates from other sources. So it will just inject data into my team depending on what you're doing in Trello. If this was a project we're working on and that project had a specific Trello card to it, that could be my channel, and I could connect that Trello card to it, just so that the data being inputted in Trello is also being injected into Teams and helps you kind of keep everything in context without sending the user to both platforms all the time. And that summarizes using apps in Teams. Now that we've learned about using the elements of a team, let's discuss some basic housekeeping, including hiding teams, pinning them, pinning channels, and rearranging your teams. And we will also discuss notifications in your activity feed. There are a few ways to help manage that if you have a lot of them. If I click this filter button here, and I say I want to search this team Soundbite, if I just type in sound, boom, I just see that team, and I could quickly click on the general channel. And so it's a one way to, if you're looking for a specific team and you just don't see it, the filter function, like search, just allows you to quickly find that team. And then another few ways to quickly navigate teams is you could drag and drop them. Say I'm done with this team and I don't want it closer to the top. I just kind of pull it down and it goes further down in my view. And I could also pin that channel. So I'm in this general, and you see I already have it pinned here, but we're going to unpin it. And then I'm also done with this task. So like, you know what, I've finished that. Let's just unpin that too. And what Teams does on the background for you is if you don't interact with the team for a while, it ends up here in hidden teams in the lower left. So it does help keep it a little clean for you. But I think the best way to really manage it is rearrange the teams as needed. And so you know that you just drag and drop. And here's like, oh, I'm done with this team for demo purposes. I'm like, okay, I don't need to see it anymore, so I'm going to hide it. And that is one quick way to find teams by using the filter function or dragging and dropping them to change your order, or pinning them so they end up here, pinning channels. Now that we learned a few ways to manage teams in a little housekeeping to help quickly find a team and or just rearrange them, let's talk about notifications in Teams and your activity feed. So in the upper left here, you're going to see this activity bell. And so what that does is it just tracks everything going on within all your teams you're subscribed to or members of. We could also filter that. So search for something. I don't have anything to search for, but search for that, and it just brought up everything for that one team I'm working with. It's cool because like I'll be working and I'll see a little indicator in my teams that there's been activity. I'll just come here and look at the feed and see what activity it was. And another thing that happens in Teams is it will notify you. So if in the upper right, if you click on usually your initials, you're going to have this settings button right here. And this just controls some basic functionality of the app. As you can tell, I have mine in dark mode. And what I really wanted to discuss is notifications. So if you have a lot of teams and it's getting too chatty for you, you feel like you're getting too many notices or whatnot, you just work your way down here and just change your behavior. Only show in feed, do banner and email, or just do banner. And just work your way down the list and change the settings as you prefer. So again, everything that happens tends to show up in your activity feed in the upper left here. And then right here in the right, if you click on your initials, You can manage just some settings in the app, as well as your status. And the settings button, again, helps you manage the notification settings. And probably one thing to go through too is not really covering the teams or the meetings portion, but again, if you're having issue with your devices, you kind of go here. So now that we've gone over the elements of a channel and just managing Teams app settings, let's cover the final thing we really need to do in Teams. Let's create a team, and let's learn how to manage that team you create. In the lower left here, you're going to see join or create a team. So we're going to click on that button to create a team. We're just going to click the create a team button. We're going to build it from scratch. And so you get three options here. Private, so that is, say we're the HR department, so we just want HR resources to be involved. So I'm going to click private and invite all my HR coworkers that I want to join my team. Public, meaning it's available, so when I join a team, I'll see that as an available group to join. And organizational wide. So this is, once I create that team, everyone automatically joins it. So we're just going to create a public one for now. And you could give it a topic if you're some text on why you're creating the team. Click create. If I wanted to invite members of my team right here, I could just type in the name of that person, maybe a distribution list. Like I mentioned, say it's the HR department. You don't want to type every HR person. So I send a distribution list, and we're just going to click skip for now for demo purposes. So then I get my new team. And again, remember, every team starts with a general. So I have my general tab. But since this is a new team, we discussed this earlier, why don't we bring it to the top? What I'm working on now, it's my current project. I have my team. I have some quick buttons here. My add more people, create more channels, or open the FAQ. Let's just go over creating a channel. I click on the three dots here and I add a channel. And I could give text to the purpose of that channel. And I could modify the privacy of it. So they could be standard or private. Remember though, like if you want to use this private functionality, the people have to be a member of the team already. Say I have 20 people on my team, but I just want to share with 10 people of those 20. I would click private here and then just designate those 10 people as I create the channel. So that way those 10 people can see that channel within that same team. And that's how you can create a team. Now let's discuss managing the team. So when I click the ellipses here, I have the Manage Team button. So I come in here, I have some basic functionality. I have the members. So if I'm an owner here, if I had a member here, I could click on that member and change it from owner to member by toggling on this. I have separate channels of the team. I haven't created a channel here, so I only see general. I have the settings for the team. And in here, I could give it a team picture. Maybe I want to really moderate, control what happens in my team. So I could disable channel creation or enable channel creation, disable apps, enable apps, control what my users in the team can do. If your organization allows guests into their team, I could manage what my guests can do. This controls how dimensions work, and we covered that earlier. Analytics just shows you the number of users, apps, things like that. Not much action there, so let's go to one where it's going to actually have some stuff. So I'm going to click Manage Team on this, but you notice I don't have all the options I saw on the other one, because on this, I am only a member. But still, I can look at the analytics as a member of the team. Number of users, who's active, who isn't active, over time, the activity, any messages and posts, and the meetings. Now, if you are an owner of a team, which I am an owner of this team, I wanted to show one thing. So if I go here to channels, if you have more than one channel, you take a channel and show them for members or not show them for members. So by clicking that box, it would make sure it shows up down here when they open the DDRS team in this case. And again, so that is basic management of a team. Again, you create it by join or create in the bottom left here. The three ellipses are where you go to manage the team and or add channels. If you're a member team, you can leave it from there. If we want to rename it, we go to edit team. We can rename the team. That is the basic functionality of the team in the Teams app. Thanks for joining us today. Please subscribe to our channel to receive notifications and or leave comments. If you found this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We encourage you to leave your feedback to help improve our content and are open to your ideas for future Soundbites. If you have any questions, you can reach us at the soundbites@nimsassociates.com email address or telephone the number listed in the slide. Again, thanks for joining us today.